Hello and welcome to the Tuesday, February 10th, 2026 edition of the SANS Internet Storm Center's Stormcast. My name is Johannes Ulrich, recording today from Jacksonville, Florida. And this episode is brought to you by the SANS.edu Grad Certificate Program in Penetration Testing and Ethical Hacking. And today, 17 years ago, was, the first episode of this podcast. Since then, according to my counting, but it's probably not accurate with re-recordings and stuff like this, we published 4,160 individual episodes, a few days worth of audio material. And just, to celebrate this a little bit, if you were born after February 9th, 2009, drop me an email and I'll have some stickers for you. Or just interesting to hear how many listeners are actually younger than the podcast itself. And Didier has a diary today about an update and, a way to better use his famous document analysis tools to extract URLs from RTF documents. And as an example, Didier here has a malicious document that's based on a basic phishing email that came with an RTF attachment. Extracting URLs is always super useful because, that's often then the next step that an attacker is trying to pursue. And of course, we had last week this story about, malformed URLs, and that certainly fits in here too, that you're also then able to extract some of these malformed URLs that may not necessarily quite match standard patterns, but are still effective. And we got, a new blog post by Watchtower with details regarding the latest vulnerability in Ivanti's Endpoint Manager Mobile. That product, always good for easy to exploit vulnerabilities, and this is not so different here. Now, it took Watchtower a little bit time here to actually walk through all the code, but in the end, it turns out to be a fairly straightforward OS command injection vulnerability. Essentially, as part of the URL, you can supply OS commands and they're then being executed by the system. So definitely something that you must patch, in particular since this vulnerability is already being exploited. And with all these details being made public by Watchtower now, of course, the exploits are now very easily going to be delivered and expanded. And talking about OS command injection vulnerabilities in software that's supposed to make us more secure, we do have more of these, and this time it's a BeyondTrust name that usually doesn't come up with these simple vulnerabilities and affects their remote support and privileged remote access solution. This is yet another vulnerability that was found via AI. Hacktron AI is the company that's being credited with finding this vulnerability. So certainly AI is making an impact here. And as I said yesterday, used correctly, it can actually lead to some good and useful security vulnerability discoveries. And good old Fortinet, not 100% sure if I haven't already mentioned that there were so many Fortinet vulnerabilities recently. This one is a SQL injection vulnerability in FortiClientEMS. They gave it a CVSS score of 9.1. So it does allow the execution of unauthorized codes, and it does not require authentication. So definitely is something that you need to patch, and probably better patch quickly. And with all the Fortinet stuff out in the last couple of weeks, definitely if you have any of their devices, double check that they're up to date and that you didn't miss one of the vulnerabilities. And that's it for today. So thanks again for listening. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing to this podcast. And as always, talk to you again tomorrow. Bye.